Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Moxie Coaching Podcast. My name is Michelle, and I'll be your host as we explore what coaching is and how it can help you create your best life. If you're anything like me, it's important to you to give back in some way. Maybe it's volunteering in the soup kitchen. Maybe it's donating $1 million to environmental research. It doesn't really matter. I started coaching and podcasting because I'm just one person who can only do so much alone. And I realized that through coaching and through podcasting, I could help and support those of you who want to do good works and exponentially increase the amount of good that I'm able to do. So if this sounds like you, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Be well.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Moxie Coaching Podcast. My name is Michelle, and I am still here. I wanted to take just a minute before we get started to welcome all of the new listeners. We have an influx, so welcome. I hope that this is a fruitful experience for you being a member of the Moxie Coaching family. And let me know if there's anything I can do for you or any questions that I can answer for you. And of course, thank you as well to my longtime folks who have been here since the beginning. I really, really appreciate you as well. So bear with me today. Apparently, the Mars retrograde is pretty much over for everybody but me. And I'm having computer issues and microphone issues. So I wanted to get this recorded though, and I am hoping for the best. I will run it through a couple different programs and hope that it's not too annoying sounding for you. Okay. If you've been listening for a while, it is no secret to you that I struggle with how much real life to inject into the podcast. I want Moxie to be a place where you come over and it feels good and you hang out for a half hour or an hour a week. And, it's not another added stress. And I feel like I have, for what it's worth, at least a little bit of a platform. And I should be using that platform to help institute change and growth wherever I can. So what I've decided to do is, rather than focus on all of the difficult, scary, frustrating, annoying, terrifying life events that are out there right now for everyone globally, I think what I would like to do is focus on the positive. And I am working on creating a set of episodes that are going to be talking about things that you can do using the tarot to support yourself when things are challenging. And this week, we're going to start with anxiety. Now, these are not going to be fluffy spreads. Don't get me wrong. I want Moxie to be a refuge, but I also feel it's important for us to not stick our head in the sand and to grow and to stretch ourselves. So these are not going to be fluffy spreads. These are going to be designed to help you work through or be a part of the solution, your solution, my solution, everybody's solution, and hopefully yield some pretty deep opportunity for personal growth and development. These spreads can be used by anyone at any level. And let me explain kind of how I see that happening, because I know that we have people listening who are tarot readers themselves, who are fully adept at understanding the meaning of the individual cards. They have that in their tool belt. We also have people who are just beginning and who aren't really sure all the time how to interpret, right? For those of you who are in that boat, we're going to come back to that in just a second. And we also have people who are absolutely brand spanking new. People who maybe have just bought their first tarot deck and are really at a loss for how to start using it. So let's go back for just a moment to those of you who are in the boat of, I know a little bit, but I don't feel like I know as much as I want to know, and I want to grow my tarot practice and yada, yada. This is also for you, and this is an opportunity for you to really dig in and learn the tarot in depth. And if you remember the last couple episodes, I do these in weird spurts, so sometimes I don't remember what's when. But if you remember, I have been on the lookout for people to take my tarot course, the one that I am in the process of working on right now, the one with all of the flashcards that are designed to help you take a tarot card, look at that tarot card, whip out whatever flashcards are appropriate, and put together or build a meaning for that tarot card for you. Okay. So this class is something I'm finishing up right now. I'm looking for people to help me pilot it. And after that, it will go live and there will be a fee involved. So if it's something that you are interested in taking and you want to get in while it's free, I would highly recommend you head on over to the website. There will be a pop-up that will pop right up in your face. So if you have any interest in signing up for the waitlist for that class, that's the place that you can do it. And that is also the place where I will pull people. If I'm still looking for people who want to pilot when we get ready to get started, that's where I'm going to be pulling lists or pulling people from. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's get into the good stuff of this week's episode. As I said, we're going to be talking about anxiety. If there is one overriding hum in the air in the world right now, it's got to be anxiety. People who would never have in a million years considered themselves anxious people are starting to get a feel for what a lot of the rest of us have dealt with forever. So that's why I wanted to start with anxiety, because it is so universal. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you live. I don't care how you think, what you believe. You have at some point in your life experienced anxiety, and you will again. And when we experience anxiety, we're not our best selves. And when we experience anxiety, we are not good examples to other people, to our kids, to other people in our community, because when we get into the space of anxiety, we become protective of ourselves and what's going on in our head. And, we have a tendency to make up stories that will keep us trapped in this hamster wheel. So I think about it this way. Right now, you could probably, if you were in a city, a town, somewhere where there are other people around, you could probably throw a rock and hit someone with beliefs that are different from yours, beliefs that stress you out, beliefs that make you anxious. And your beliefs are likely to make that person anxious as well. This is not a one-way street here. And so we have two anxious people who are being very protective of themselves and want to make sure that whatever it is not going to change. Whatever it is safe. Whatever it is secure. And then what happens is our amygdala is getting triggered and we get into fight or flight. And a lot of people these days, especially seemingly these days, don't even don't even hear their flight. They automatically default to fight. And so we have all of these people running around in the world. All of us are anxious about one thing or another. We're all on some level very protective of ourselves and our families and our beliefs and whatnot. And we feel like others are getting in our way. And that, in my mind, is recipe for more anxiety, recipe for some trouble, for continuance of what we've been experiencing in the world, in the last 5 or 6 years. So, what can we do about that? How can we take the knowledge that that's where we are and use the tarot in a way that goes beyond the typical, what is going to happen to me? What is this situation going to look like? How can I do this? How can I do that? I want to use the tarot to look inside, or to give us an opportunity to look inside by opening some doors that we may not have paid much attention to in the past. Either doors that we just haven't thought about, or doors that we continuously walk by with our fingers in our ears singing la 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 because we don't want to address what's behind that door. So we're going to go through a reading. And what I did basically is created a reading, and I'm going to walk you through the reading. Okay. And we'll just do it as a sample reading, and you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. You'll also be able to get a feel for how I'm interpreting the cards. And you'll also get a feel for whether you think this is something that you would be interested in giving a whirl. But before we do that, I wanted to go back and address those of you, like I said, those of you who are already proficient tarot readers. You're just going to be interested probably in the spread here, and go for it. You can use it, and perfect. If you are someone who is just now beginning, someone who has just opened their tarot deck, doesn't really have much of a concept for what each of the individual cards means, what you can do is follow through the concept of the spread, but where someone doing the traditional reading would be shuffling the cards and flipping them over and seeing what pops up, you are going to spread the cards out in front of you on your table, on the floor, wherever. Your cats are guaranteed to find you if you do this. And go through the reading and choose cards that resonate with you based on their visual appeal, based on how cued in they seem to be to what it is you're trying to deal with, based on how they feel in your gut. Every once in a while we will see something that's like, oh, yeah, that's it. The gut punch kind of thing. So I encourage you to give this a try and use this completely from this perspective and just see what you come up with. Okay. Now, for you folks, I'm just finishing up, literally have just finished up. I haven't started to market it yet, but an introduction, a foundation to the tarot. And this course is going through all of the basics, but I mean the nitty gritty basics. We're talking about what the tarot does, what it doesn't do, the anatomy of the deck, why each card is where it is, and what their purposes are. We're going to talk about how to get started in that course, just the basics, getting your space ready, preparing yourself mentally, all of those things. And that's a free course. So if you are interested in that, just keep an eye out on my Instagram feed and here, keep an ear out, and I will certainly let you know when that is live. All right, so that covers all different tarot levels. And if I did not say this earlier, and you are in that middle tarot level where you are in the process of learning how to use the cards in a way that feels good to you, you know some meanings, some of them you don't. I encourage you to approach this the same way you would as if you already knew how to read the tarot. And then grab your book when you need to, grab your resources when you need to, for now, and approach it that way. I will put a link in the show notes to a document that has an image of this spread on it, so you don't need to worry about trying to write it down if you don't want to. Okay, let's get started. So first things first, I am not always concerned about choosing a signifier card or a significator card, which is basically a card that represents the querent in the reading. And I don't know why, it's not a thing for me. It doesn't seem to make a difference either way in my traditional readings. However, for this particular reading, I want you to do your best to find a card that represents what it is you are anxious about. Look through the cards. If you already know the card meanings and you already know, oh yeah, I'm going to the Five of Pentacles right now, good. Go for the Five of Pentacles, grab that card, and get ready. If you're not sure, look through the cards, find the one, and I'm using the Rider-Smith-Waite deck, and I suggest strongly that you do if you are beginning, to look through the deck and find the card that just sort of clicks into place when you see it, as far as being representative of your anxiety. The card that I chose for the general reading, because I think we all can identify with this, for the signifier, is the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of actively trying to protect what is yours. It's a card, the image itself is of a young man, and he's standing on a cliff. Below him, looks like people are trying to scale the cliff. They're coming up, they're poking their wands at him in, based on the way he looks, an aggressive manner. And he's just trying to basically hold them off, right? Trying to keep his own shit together. So I thought that might be a good representative of how a lot of us are feeling right now. Overwhelmed, like we can't turn our back or let our guard down, frustrated, tired, and whatnot. If you are not sure about what is making you anxious, I would suggest looking through the cards and seeing if they spark anything for you. And if so, then you can just put them into place of the signifier. And I want you to choose that if possible, because especially with anxiety, it can be generalized in a way that we're not even sure where it's coming from or why it's there. And by identifying it, it's sort of like shining a light on the monster under the bed. And it becomes a little bit less scary if we can identify it, if we can find a process that'll help us work through that anxiety. And that's what I'm hoping this reading will do for you. So let's see where we land. For context, we're going to say that this reading is for a 28-year-old woman who tends toward anxiety, who is feeling like things are coming at her all at once, and she's feeling overwhelmed and defensive. The concept of this card, the message of this card in a nutshell is if you have an abundance, be willing to share it. If you are in need, be willing to accept help, expecting something from her. And she's feeling anxious about this. She's feeling defensive and she wants to know how to deal with it. So the first card, in addition to the signifier, which as we said earlier is the Seven of Wands, Nine of Pentacles. Okay. The typically a pretty darn good card. It shows a woman standing, looking very peaceful. She's holding her falcon. Below her at her feet are pentacles. Surrounding her is what looks like her lush estate. And this card can indicate having everything you want, but it can also indicate feeling a little bit stuck or a little bit trapped, almost like I want to say a kept woman, but I don't mean that in the traditional sense. I mean, just whatever her life situation is, she's feeling stuck. She's feeling trapped in this situation and she's feeling like she can't get out. And while it is a beautiful place, if we're not in the right headspace, any beautiful place can seem like a prison. So that is a little bit darker side of the Nine of Pentacles, but it is a side indeed. And I would say that for our person who's feeling anxious, who's feeling overwhelmed, she has what she needs. She's got the good job, but all of the things that she has are contributing to her feeling anxious and overwhelmed. Okay. Tarot card to remind this person of her strength. Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords, all about new energy, new mental energy, new ideas, new thoughts, new processes, often indicates a window of time where there is opportunity for something related to this card to happen. All of the aces are like this. So Ace of Cups, an opportunity for 3-4 weeks related to emotion, intuition, and whatnot. In this case, we have the Ace of Swords, which is going to be related to some energy that deals with thoughts, ideas, and whatnot. So one thing that our person needs to remember is that, yes, maybe she is feeling trapped, but this card has reminded her that she has the capacity, she has the capability to look at things logically. This isn't asking her to look at her heart. It's not a cup. It's not saying, look inside and decide what you need. Nope. This one is saying to this particular person, now I think you need to be logical about this. Take a look and remember that you have this skill of being logical, of deducing, and of problem solving. Okay. What, if anything, can she do to address the situation? Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is what I call the social justice card. It shows a well-to-do man standing up, holding a scale, a balance scale. Above him are pentacles. Below him on their knees are two people who are receiving gifts from this well-to-do person. The concept of this card, The message of this card in a nutshell is if you have an abundance, be willing to share it. If you are in need, be willing to accept help. Now, when I say this is the social justice card and, being willing to share and being willing to accept help, it's not at all pointing to somebody who doesn't want to share. It's just simply a suggestion that we all need to be sharing our resources. If I have more than I need, I can give some to you. And if you have more than you need, you can give some to me. And it works out well for everyone. And we really seem to have forgotten that these days. So, what a perfect card for what, if anything, can she do to address how she's feeling? This could be suggesting she does something to help out other people. It could be something that takes the focus off of her and puts the focus on someone else for just a little while. A lot of times when we are feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling frustrated, stepping away and interacting with other people and making an effort to be a contribution to something rather than just sitting and being anxious. And even literally, if that contribution is something like going out for a walk and helping somebody across the street, the point is to put yourself in a position where it's not all about you. And a lot of times it's hard for us to do that when we get into these places of, really feeling anxious and really feeling frustrated and whatever. It can be hard. It can be hard to remember that sometimes what feels best is helping someone else. Next card. Where are we at, Henry? Okay. So that's what she can do to address the situation. All right. What, if anything, might she want to avoid right now? What are the cards just going to tell her? Hey, you probably already know this, but I'm just reminding you. Strength card. Interesting. Okay. This card is very likely suggesting that our person does not try to be everything to everyone, does not try to be the one who is the strong one all the time for everyone. There is a place, there's a time, and when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling stressed, having to put ourselves in a mental position where we're having to either mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or shoot, even physically, if you have older parents or whatever, have to be there and be strong. And sometimes we just need a freaking break from being strong. Sometimes we need to take that strength card and say, screw you, you know, have a couple tears and let it go. But the point is that it is a reminder, because of the type of reading this is a reminder to her. This card is here to support her. And then the last card is a card that can point her to an action she can take to address the source of her anxiety. And we have Queen of Cups. So a couple things here. Number one could be a suggestion that she embody more of the Queen of Cups energy for herself. Embody more of this intuitive, creative, feeling-based, warm, fuzzy-based energy, and use that action that she's able to cultivate, that she's able to embody to help shift how she's thinking about things. It could also be a very practical suggestion that says, yo, girl, you got too much on your plate. How about if you go talk to somebody who can help you? So the Queen of Cups could very well be a coach, therapist, a good friend, someone who is there that has the Queen of Cups energy, the Queen of Cups capacity for empathy and caring and support, and have that person in whatever way they can, in whatever way you guys decide, help you out. Okay. So basically, we use this reading. We're not trying to figure out what's going on in the future. We're not trying to figure out what happened in the past. We're basically just trying to figure out what the heck is going on now and how she can address it. So I invite you to give this spread a try when you're feeling particularly anxious, when you're feeling like you don't know what the heck to be doing or where to turn or how to manage whatever's going on for you. It's a wonderful way, especially if you journal as you are doing the reading. And it doesn't have to be massive, heart wrenching, pour your guts out journaling. It can just be simply something that allows you to think. So it can be keywords, but the process of thinking about what it is these cards are trying to tell you is where the juice is, right? Because with this type of reading, the whole point is to get to know yourself better. And there is no right or wrong answer. And you can take this at your own pace, do it in a way that feels good to you, and see what you can get out of it.
Hello, 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 everyone. This is the collective tarot reading for the week of July 12th through July 19. This week I pulled 3 cards, and the cards I pulled were for the general energy, which is the first card I chose. The second card I chose is what types of challenges or potential opportunities might come up this week. And the last card I chose was what card can we look to for support this week? So in terms of the general energy, we came up with the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords is right on target in terms of what's going on with the collective right now. When we think of swords, we think of ideas, we think of thoughts, we think of belief systems, we think of the mental sphere, and we potentially think of conflicts. So it's not a really big surprise that this card is coming up in relationship to the general energy of things right now. If you are someone who does pay attention to the news, then you are someone who likely has been thinking a lot lately about the Supreme Court. Regardless of where you stand on it, it's hard not to be aware of it these days. You likely have been made aware of or are thinking about what's going on with January 6th. You're likely thinking about the consequences of everything that happened with the Supreme Court and the consequences or potential consequences of everything that could be coming up with next year's Supreme Court decisions, because they are on a tear. And it's extremely disturbing to a lot of people, myself included. And so there's a lot of angst out there. And it's not just this emo, sad, depressed angst. It's a more angry angst. It's a more energized with anger, more potential for conflict. And we know that that's what the swords are all about, right? So just be aware that, not everyone, that's not fair. Some people who don't pay attention to the news, and maybe you're one of them and you're blissfully unaware of what's going on. But even if that's the case, if you are an empathic person, you're going to pick up on the energy, regardless of having a full understanding or a full knowledge of what's going on in the world. You are likely to pick up on that energy. So just be aware that this upcoming week, there could be that feeling of sort of high strung, high frequency, not high frequency, high strung, low buzz in the air that just keeps everything feeling a little bit on the edge and a little bit uncomfortable. Now, in terms of the opportunities and challenges, we came up with the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands asks us to look into the future and decide what we want. We are in a position right now, globally, here in the United States, pretty much everywhere, where we are at a real turning point. And it is time that we need to be looking at what we want things to look like. We still have choice right now. We still have the opportunity to interfere and ameliorate, I think that's the right word, some of the climate change that's going on. We still have time to address what's going on politically with voting rights. There are places where we do still have time, but we don't have unlimited time. And the longer we fail to pay attention to what's going on, the deeper we're going to get into trouble. And so, this card is saying, look, you do have some opportunity here as a collective and as individuals to decide what this future of yours should look like. What do you, as an individual, want your future to look like? What do you want the future of your neighborhood, of your city, of your state, of the entire United States? We need to start thinking about what we want this to look like and put some intentional effort behind creating that, instead of spending as much time as a lot of us have been spending just in this reactionary mode and trying to juggle and trying to survive. I think this card is here to just suggest to us that, look, you guys still have an opportunity. Don't feel like, everything's a done deal. And so it's in some ways, this card is here as an opportunity to show us what is still possible. Now, it's also challenging, right? Because knowing what's possible and actually creating what's possible are two very, very different things. And getting everyone or a large enough group to agree to what the best future would be for everyone, we've all figured out is pretty much a lot easier said than done. So, take that for what it is. But I think that yeah, we do. This is like, hey, stop all the doom and gloom and look at what you can do, what your neighbor can do, what every individual can do. And then the card that's here for support for us this week is is a funny card in a way, because it's like it's like the boring boyfriend, the boring grandpa-ish male energy. It's the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles is steady and earthy and dependable. He is the guy that you will call on if you need material support, if you need support building something, creating something in this physical world, the Knight of Pentacles is your guy. He is always ready to take on the next task, and he's there as I keep seeing like bumpers, bumper bowling or training wheels. It's like he's here right now to help support and help us get on our feet, to take advantage of some of this grandpa energy, even though it's young grandpa, it's young grandpa energy, and ground ourselves, feel the sense of safety, the sense of security that this card is at least attempting to bring to us. And yes, knights are all about action, but this guy is not, rushing into battle. This guy is like, his action right now is, what can I do to help you? What can I initiate that's going to be supportive of you? So that is the card that is there for us. Just providing us a little bit of counter energy to what's going on with this highly volatile and I'm seeing a picture of pop rocks in my head. Like that's the Ace of Swords energy right now. So having the Knight of Pentacles in that position is actually a really nice way to balance things out. So to wrap up, general energy this week is crazy, head-based, tons of thoughts, tons of everything going on, politically, spiritually, in all different areas. Highly strung energy of new ideas, new thoughts, new conflicts. It's like static on a radio that you just can't get tuned in, and it's just full blast is the feeling that we get from this card in this position and situation. And then the Two of Wands is just reminding us that it is time to make some decisions individually and collectively about how we want our future to look. And a reminder that it is not too late, that our future is still malleable, at least for a while. And then the last card is our Knight of Pentacles, our safe, secure, the one your mother would want you to partner with because she would always know that you were taken care of. And again, Knight of Pentacles, we talked about the energy of the cards can be male or female, it does not matter. It's just this energy of safety, security, and support, which I think is something we could all revel in a little bit this week. All right, everyone, that is it for this week. Have a wonderful week. Do your best to do whatever it is you need to do to cope with this Ace of Swords energy. Lean on the Knight of Pentacles. Meditate on the Knight of Pentacles. Sit outside. Use the earth. Use something that will help you ground yourself. Go sit in the water. Go sit on the grass. Something along those lines. And just be open to what new things, how you would like things to look in the future. And if enough of us put that type of positive energy out there this week, hopefully we can counteract some of the challenging stuff that is potentially this week. All right, I hope you all have a good week. I hope you are all able to find a source of Knight of Pentacles type support this week. And yeah, spend some time imagining, thinking, pondering what you would like life to look like, what you would like your particular life and what you would like the collective to look like. And again, enough time spent in that space results in a certain level of manifestation. So if we all do it, things will move in the right direction.
All right. I think that is it. Many last minute announcements. As usual, if you have not signed up for the free reading and are interested in being in the drawing, I encourage you to go ahead over to Moxie and do that. Nutshell reminder, 2 new courses coming up. One is very shortly going to be delivered, and that is the free, super, super basic introduction to the tarot. And the one following that is the one that I'm looking right now for people to help me pilot. Take that class free in exchange for some feedback, some constructive criticism, hopefully a testimonial if it's good. And that course, that's the one that is addressing this new system that I've kind of put together. So if you're interested, check that out or sign up for the waitlist. If you are one of the first people on the wait list, you may get chosen for the free pilot. If not, I will send you an email and just let you know that the course is live and where you can find it. I think that's it. Everybody, I hope that this is helpful for you. Take it, use it, share it with other people. And this week, just do your best. Give yourself a hug. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others and be safe. Bye-bye.